If you're a beginner woodworker like myself, you'll typically go to the store, pick up a new set of chisels, bring them home, and then start using them immediately. But did you know that there's a few inexpensive items that you can purchase online to get your chisels super sharp? Stay tuned. In this video, I'll show you the products that I purchased and the process that I take to sharpen my chisels here in the workshop. Hey everyone, my name is Tim Tognacci and welcome back to another episode of Casual Builds, the channel focused on bringing you beginner DIY and woodworking projects. So before we get started, I just want to cover a few different things, and that is the products that I purchased in order to sharpen my chisels. We'll start off with the very basic products that you'll need, and then a few different add-ons that can help really refine that edge and make things a little bit more sharper. So, in order to get started, let's review what I actually purchased online. And everything that I've purchased, I will leave a link down below in the video description so you can go and check them out for yourself if you want to purchase these items as well. So the first obvious thing that you're gonna need is a chisel. So I picked up this one. It is a 5/8 inch chisel. Cobalt makes it, and this is gonna be the one that we'll be sharpening today. So the second thing that you're gonna need to purchase is a whetstone. I think I picked this thing up for about 10-15 bucks off of Amazon. Again, link down below to this one exactly. There's one side that's 400 grit and the other side which is 1000 grit. So the 400 grit will give you kind of that coarse sanding, and then the 1000 grit will allow you to really refine that edge and make things a little bit more finer. If you really want to step up your game, you'll get one of these little honing edge guides. So the way that this thing works is that you put your chisel in here, you set it a specific distance away, and that makes it so it's either at a 30 or 25 degree angle as you're moving it across the whetstone. And if you want to take it to the next level, I actually haven't used this yet personally, but it is another whetstone that is 3000 grit and then 8000 grit. So this really just helps make sure that the angle and everything is super smooth and fine. So we'll be using this today. I'll go through each one of the steps as we go. There's a few other supplies that you'll need as well before we get started, and that is big tub of water, and then maybe a little spray bottle with some water in there as well, and something to make it so when you're actually sharpening on the whetstone, it doesn't slide back and forth on the surface. One of the whetstones I bought came with this little rubber mat, so I'm gonna set that down so it doesn't move. So in order to get started, we need to first soak our whetstones in this water for about 10 to 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that. So you'll see that as soon as you put the whetstones in the water, they start bubbling. So you'll want to keep them in here for about 10 to 15 minutes or until they stop bubbling. That's how you'll know that they're ready to go. Also, while we wait for these, this would be the perfect time to actually take this out of the packaging. Well, so as you can see out of the packaging, you can kind of see those bevels right here along the top. And that's just from kind of the sharpening process that they take at the factory. So that's ultimately what we want to try to get rid of. This is the chisel that we will be sharpening. I mean, it works, but it's not the greatest. Here's one that I've already done. It's hard to tell by video, but I'm exerting a lot less force with this one. So that's our goal. Now the whetstones should be done. I'm gonna take them out of the water. I'm gonna reserve the 3000 and 8000 one off to the side for the time being. And now I'm gonna take out the 400 and 1000 grit whetstone now. So to start, I'll set this in my little rubber holder thing so it doesn't slip and slide all over the place. And then we start off on the back side of the chisel, and you want to just keep going. Maybe use the whole whetstone just to make sure that you're not getting any parts of it lower or higher than the other, and just kind of in a circular motion here. And the goal is that the kind of markings on the back, you want to get rid of them. So We'll just start off by doing that. And if it gets dry at any time, squirt it with a little bit of water. Flip sides every once in a while. And ultimately you want to keep going until you don't see those marks anymore. So this is just kind of one single color. There's no texture to it. And it might take some time, but just keep at it. So we removed some of that texture from before. Not entirely sure what that's from, but I'm not too concerned about it. So now the next step is to flip the stone over to the 1000 grit side and continue doing the same thing. So if you only have a 400 and 1000 grit whetstone, you can skip this next step, but because I recently picked up this 3000 and 8000 grit whetstone, I'm going to do that same process, going to 3000 and then going to 8000 as well. So in order to sharpen this part of the chisel, I'm going to be using this little honing guide here, and I'll show you how to use that. So if you take a look at the honing guide here, you'll see that on one of the sides, if you want a 30-degree bevel, you want to set the chisel about 30 millimeters from the end to the tip of the chisel, and if you want a 25-degree bevel, it's 40 millimeters. So my chisel is set to 25-degree bevel. So what I'm gonna do is take the 30 that I've locked in place with the calipers, just go from the edge of my workbench, measure it out approximately to 30. That looks good. I'm gonna clamp this block down. Give it a quick tighten with the screwdriver, and let's test that out. All right, now that we have the honing guide locked into place with the chisel set the right distance away to make it a 25-degree angle, we're gonna do the same process as before, working all the way from 400 grit to 8000 or 1000 if you only have this one whetstone. And the process really is just to make sure that this little wheel here, this bearing on the bottom, rides up against the whetstone as you push onto the tip of the chisel and just going like this. And make sure you work in all angles again of the whetstone so you're not focusing on one spot. And yeah, same process as before. Again, just take a look every once in a while at the tip just to make sure that the markings from the manufacturer are gone and it's a nice smooth bevel. Now I just wrapped up the 400 grit side of the whetstone. You can see that all of the texture left from when I bought it from the store is now gone. So now that is the time to move up, and we'll go to 1000, 3000, and then 8000, and then we're almost done. So I hope you guys got something out of today's video. This chisel is super sharp and I'm excited to start using it in future projects. This can be done, as you saw, with just a few inexpensive items from Amazon that I got online. I'll have links to everything down below in the video description. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, it would mean a lot. And if you're not already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.